what's up YouTube, Webberz05 here, coming at you today with Q&A number 14. Sorry, I always forget the Q&A number whenever I do this. So I've got quite a few questions today from both Express Gaming and Dark84, so thank you so much guys. So without further ado, I'll get into it. So first 8 questions are from Express Gaming. Question 1. What decks have you enjoyed playing against? Casual, competitive decks, or just in general? I like facing all kinds of decks. Casual decks are interesting because you get to see lots of decks that you wouldn't normally anticipate. But then also competitive decks are quite interesting because you can see what the best strategies are right now. Overall, I just kind of like playing whatever deck because it means I can just learn different strategies, learn different things of what people are doing, figure out counter strategies of how to beat it, so it's all just a great learning experience, so I never really mind what kind of decks I play against. Question 2. Any cards I have in decks that you don't like, and why is that? I've kind of lost track on what decks you're playing at the moment, so I'm not really sure, but if it's in there and you're playing Cosmo Dark Planet, I could probably say that because I really don't like its ability to negate spells multiple times in a turn. That ain't fun. 3. Would you like to face my Sushi Ship deck one day when Saturdays are back up running? Well, first, I'm really not sure if and when Saturdays are going to get back running. I would like them to, but we really don't know right now. But yes, I would definitely be interested in giving them a go. I could face your ships with my Plunder Patrol ships. That would be fun. Question 4. Are you staying in with family for Christmas Day dinner or plan to eat and celebrate it out? I will be at home for Christmas this year like I am every year. I anticipate my sister will probably come back down from London as well, so that should be really nice. And then I'm really not sure what the other plans are. Usually we have my neighbours come over for a bit and one of our family friends might come visit us as well, but they kind of have sort of their own plans now since a couple of them got married, so they might be abroad for this Christmas. But I'm not sure, but looking forward to it anyway. It's always a great time to spend time with my family. Question 5. What are you looking into for Yu-Gi-Oh! Future? Really not sure what I'm looking forward to in the future, but I am looking forward to Photon Hypernova and the new Plunder Patrol ship. It does look very interesting. We've got an Earth ship, which the design of it essentially looks like what you would expect an Earth ship to look like, so that should be really fun. I also think it's quite interesting that it's a pendulum monster, so it's making me question, are they going to convert Plunder Patrol into a pendulum-based archetype? I wonder. We'll have to wait and see. Question 6. Are you planning to bring back your Blackwings in the next new set of cards you're looking forward to? Okay, Dark84 has been asking me this question for years. I usually keep telling him that I'm working on it, but I can be completely honest now. No, I am not working on my Blackwings, and I currently have no intention in bringing them back for the moment. Don't get me wrong, the new support for them in Darkwing Blasters look interesting, but as of this current moment, I've just invested in Draco Slayer, so I'm not really planning to build anything new for the moment. Kind of just want to learn Draco Slayer and get more used to that. 7. Out of all Yu-Gi-Oh! Friends at Dead Universe, who do you think comes close to being more like Kaiba Boy? That's kind of hard to say. Attitude-wise, I have no idea. In terms of having really expensive and nice stuff, I'd probably have to give that honour to myself, because, let's be honest, the guys at DU have seen my binder. It's quite nice and very high rarity, so in that aspect, I'm a little bit like Kaiba. I also have a very big briefcase that I bring with me to gaming, so yeah. And question 8. If the Dark Magician 84 was the Egyptian pharaoh 5,000 years ago, what would you ask him? I say, can I sit in your golden throne, or can I use your 3 Egyptian god cards to beat an evil person in your future that you couldn't beat? I don't really know what I would ask Richie if he was a pharaoh. Yeah, not really sure. Can't really think of why I would want to ask a pharaoh, but still, could be an interesting thing to think about. And then you've added the additional comments. And finally, I'd like to say I'm enjoying watching your Q&As, even if I can't think of any questions to say. I am sorry it's taking me so long to come up with more. More again, keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much, and I don't mind if you post questions or if you don't post questions. I'm just happy that people are enjoying the series. So thank you very much. And finally, got a series of questions from the Dark Magician 84, and a few comments from him leading up to it first. First of all, I never knew Pendulum Gadget was a thing. Oh, it was an absolutely huge thing when Pendulum was first starting out. You just Pendulum summon the gadget, you search more, then you normal summon, search again, and then you just do like XZ's plays. It was mad. I never played Cyberse Wicked in my Cyberse deck. I don't remember that Cyberse game, still trying to think of when it happened. I think it was quite a while ago. Maybe it wasn't Cyberse Wicked, but I definitely remember you putting me under an accidental lock with Cyberse Magician and Quantum Dragon. Or it may not have been Quantum Dragon, it might have been the other one. Clock Dragon. Yeah, that's it. But I definitely remember it happening. If it's any consolation, I don't play Red Supernova in my Red Dragon Archfiend deck. I hate that card. Good. It's awful. I'd much rather build up to Red Nova Dragon after having some fun with Scarlight and the original Red Dragon Archfiend. Scarlight is always definitely fun to do. I agree about Guilford and Joey. I think it could be really awesome if they give that more support. Okay, okay, now that we've gone through the pre-question comments, let's get into the actual questions. 1. Unrelated to my deck questions, has there ever been a pendulum monster you hate? Now, a pendulum monster I hate has never really been something I've thought about. I did a quick search on Dueling Book of a list of all pendulum monsters, just kept going through the list to see if there's any that really hit me in the back of my head. And once I got to a specific page, I'm like, yes, this card I can't stand. The pendulum monster I probably hate the most is Clifford Stealth. Simply because, not so much of the card itself, but simply because of what people do with the card. It's always Pendulum Summon Helix and Carrier. Tribute both off for Stealth. Effective Carrier, effective Stealth. Effective Carrier, effective Helix, then effective Stealth. Stealth. So then it's just a 3-way removal that I can't respond to, which is so awful. Stealth's like target a card on the field and put it, and I think it's either put it back into the hand. One of Carrier, and then Carrier and Stealth can each target either a monster or a spell. And because you do Clifford Stealth as Chainlink 3, your opponent can't respond to it. So it's just awful. It's 3 lots of removal that you can't do anything about, which is why I really don't like Stealth. 2. Thoughts on Stardust Junk? I'll always be a fan of Stardust Junk. It's probably one of my favourite synchro decks. It's always fun watching replays of it on Dueling Book, particularly when someone's trying to go into a Max Siege challenge against it. I myself have accidentally taken the Max Siege challenge against Stardust Junk and subsequently decked myself out. Though I will admit there was one time I didn't deck myself out because my opponent couldn't special summon enough. I didn't have many cards left in my deck, but with the approximate 25 to 27 cards in my hand, I was just able to just one-shot. It was great. 3. Thoughts on Neos Wise Man? I don't really remember what Neos Wise Man does. I remember it very briefly from the anime, sort of. Isn't it like kind of a mix? I think its effect's something like a mix between Flame Wingman and Steam Healer. I think it's like something like when it kills a monster in battle, burn its attack to your opponent and you gain life points equal to its defense, or something like that. I don't remember. But overall, the design I think is really cool. Summoning it does not seem very optimal though. But overall, I think it's pretty cool. 4. Thoughts on Arcana Knights / Face Card Knights? Okay, I can understand that you've put Face Card Knights because that is the official name, and you probably anticipated if you called it Arcana Knights I would have corrected you, and you would have been right in that position. But yeah, they're quite interesting. Naturally, on Master Duel there was an event where you have to play using the face cards, So that was quite interesting, getting a chance to try out that. They were interesting to try out. Essentially the deck build was kind of focused on summoning Slifer, which made a lot of sense. That was interesting, but yeah, overall it was good fun, but it did take me a very long time to try and actually beat the computer with it. 5. Thoughts on Red Eyes. I also remember when you pointed out that you briefly played Dark Magician and Blue Eyes, but never Red Eyes. Well, the reason I've never played Red Eyes is because I've never had all the stuff for it, because at the time, Red Eyes was an extremely expensive deck to get into, which is why I've never really played it. But that being said, I have played Red Eyes on Duel Links. My deck was essentially a Red Eyes / Dragon Turbo, which was so much fun, because you just go Red Eyes Fusions and Red Eyes Black Dragon and AD Changer to bring out Red Eyes / Dragon. Wait until you get the Claw of Hermos to do a Rocket Hermos Cannon. Because you've got AD Changer, you can force your opponent's monster into attack mode, and then you just smack twice for game. It's just great. I love it. 6. Thoughts on Neos Beatdown. I'm fairly sure you remember this because it was the game where you banished all 3 copies of Neos with Bottomless and Rhapsody and Berserk. Oh yes, I definitely remember doing that to you and you subsequently hating me for it. I don't remember that it was... I didn't know that it was Neos Beatdown that I did that to, but I definitely remember doing that to a Neos deck. So overall, I could probably say it was quite good, but naturally, as I banished all 3 copies of your Neos, I probably didn't really see too much of what it was meant to do, so my apologies on that front. Sort of, slightly, not really, but you get what I mean. 7. Thoughts on the Egyptian gods. So with the recent Egyptian god support, it's all very interesting. Like, they basically made it so that you can turbo out each one as its own individual deck, which is really cool. Slifer's signature spell card allowing you to draw until you have 6 is pretty much awesome, which would be great. But naturally it needs a lot of resources for you to be able to destroy on your opponent's field first, which means you've got to wait for them to set up before you can just get the full advantage from it. But yeah, it definitely looks like it'd be interesting. Then Ra has been seeing quite a bit of play on dueling, but on Master Duel, like I think I recall there was also an event where you have to play as Ra. That was really difficult to play through as well, but Ra has always been a pretty interesting god that they've focused on for probably a bit more than the other ones, because naturally we've got Ra's original form, Sphere Mode, and God Phoenix. But yeah, in the anime, naturally, they hyped up Ra as the best god, which is probably why it got more support than the rest of them. 8. Thoughts on Blackluster Soldier. Blackluster Soldier as an archetype is really cool. I like how it goes into the bit of a chaos variant with it that allows it that some of the smaller monsters can give the ritual monsters the proper Envoy and Twilight effects, which is really cool. Naturally, my only downside about it is naturally it's a ritual deck, so kind of takes a lot for you to get yourself going to set up, but once you're pretty much set up and there, it's really strong, and from what I've seen, definitely a really strong contender as a ritual deck. 9. Thoughts on Blue Eyes. Like I said, I know you briefly played it both in real life and on Dueling Book when we did the Yu-Gi-Oh's 20th Anniversary Endurance. I'm just a little unsure of your thoughts nowadays. So yeah, I built it online because one of my closest friends is a massive Blue Eyes fan, so I tried to figure out a build to help him to see if he wants to get back in the game, but he didn't really go for it. He's just always been stuck in his ways, but nothing wrong with that. I was just trying to give my opinion on it. Overall, like, when the deck was absolute hype back in the day, I found it extremely annoying because of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, which stops pendulum summoning to a huge advantage, because Spirit states your opponent neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time, which essentially renders Pendulum's advantage useless. So that was just such an annoying card to deal with. It's still an annoying card to deal with anytime I have to face Blue Eyes. But overall, the deck is quite interesting, and I respect it. And question 10. Thoughts on Magician Girls. So Magician Girls are quite interesting. I like all their individual effects, and I do find their gimmick is interesting of forcing your opponent to attack into multiple stuff and lowering its stats, which makes it very difficult to deal with, but makes it more of a challenge to try and win, which is quite nice. Though frankly I've always preferred my method of getting around it. I think I once played it with Odd Eyes and my response was just summon Meteor Burst Dragon and attack. Because Meteor Burst states my opponent cannot activate monster effects during the battle phase, which essentially renders all the Magician Girls worthless. And guys, that's going to be it for questions on this Q&A. Hope you all enjoyed it. Big thank you to DarkMagician84 and Express Game for your questions. Once again guys, really enjoyed them. Thank you so much. And remember guys, for those interested in posting questions on my Q&A, I do these every Tuesday afternoon UK time. Thank you so much for watching guys, and I will see you next time.